back to the Power and Lifting Podcast. I'm your host, Solana Lewis. And today, Chris D and we dive into pretty much talking about tracking metrics for training, what metrics we tend to pay most attention to, and if there are certain metrics that we use to track that we just don't see as much value in tracking as meticulously. And from there, we kind of just talk about people who we're excited to see at the SBD rally meet and some other ramblings that are in there. It's definitely more of a chill conversation, but I think you guys will really enjoy it. If it's not your first time listening to the podcast, that means you have come back. You must like it somewhat, and that tells me that you are ready to write a review and leave us a rating. It means the world to us if you can leave us a 5-star review and a rating on Apple and or Spotify. That way we can get the podcast out to more people. And don't forget, you can always share the podcast with a friend. That helps us out too. Let's go ahead and dive into today's episode. All right, y'all. Me and Chris D are back to have a nice little conversation.
Yeah. What's going on?
Not much. I finally got the blur background down. Been trying to get the blur background for like 2 years and I've just never done it.
I keep going back and forth. I feel like I like it because sometimes there's things that are going on, like my animals just running around on the, counter or something. And so it can be distracting, but at the same time, I'm like, it looks weird to me. I don't know if I like it. So I keep going back and forth. I think like you and I talked, we just got to get a nice backdrop that looks like we're on a sunny beach somewhere.
Yeah. I think for me, like looking at it, like because my background's brown, I'm like it's just blurred brown with a brown
Yeah.
person again. So it's just like not why it's just a weird look. I just need to make my like paint this room or do the wallpaper thing.
Yeah, get a wallpaper and get the colors of the power and lifting.
That's very simple. Red and
That'd be
blue.
cool. And
I'll
it
do
would
it.
match.
All right, all right. Anywho, all right. So we're kind of gonna talk about a few things today.
Yeah.
I know one thing, you're good. I know one thing, and you mentioned it last week. I thought that'd be a fun topic, talking about like how measuring certain variables with training can either be helpful or just over the top and not really necessary. And like what kind of like what we should and shouldn't track maybe when it comes to our athletes and progression.
Yeah. So this is something that I've thought about, I guess, more recently. For a long time. It's like you want to track anything and everything that you can really think of, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, overall, it's if you're not sleeping well, eating well, not managing your stress, like any of those factors aren't really going to help. And sometimes we can, I guess, micromanage. We were talking about this before the podcast, how you might have a really good training block, right? But that training block, you do that at another point in time and you may not respond as well to it, maybe just because you have different life stressors and other things that are going on. So even with the same person, it's kind of important to adjust over time. And sometimes I think some of those variables that we try to account for don't really matter. They kind of, I don't want to say go out the window, but in a sense, they just, if the athlete isn't responding, but historically they have, what are you going to do? You're going to change up the programming. Even if the whatever data you're collecting saying, hey, this is like this person should be doing really well and she should be feeling fine, or, whatever it is. And so I think that's important to think about. And also, yeah, exactly what it is that you're measuring. So for us, and this is something that I've really thought about recently, I guess maybe back in school. So a lot of us, um, or at least especially in the beginning, maybe not as much now, but we track training volume, right? Like over a weekly session, over a week. At least I used to. And that's sets times reps times load, right? Do you still measure that?
No, I haven't done tonnage in a while.
Okay,
I
yeah.
I do sometimes if things are getting like weird, where like something that was working isn't. I'm like, let
Yeah.
me just see has this changed way more than I maybe think it has. But
Yeah.
like typically like when I did track it, it didn't like do much for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Like
And that's one that I think that especially as powerlifters, at least maybe a couple of years ago, that was like a big thing, and we've kind of gone away from it. And I read this article and it was really cool because it's like, you think about 10 sets of one rep at say 75% of your max is going to feel very different than one set of 10 at
yep.
75. Even though the training load is exactly the same, that workout is going to feel very, very different. One workout is you're gonna like, this is easy peasy, and the next one you're like, oh, 10
I'm
reps.
dying.
I'm dying. Yeah. So I think that's also something to consider, is that even, yeah, like what it is that you're tracking, is it really, really worth it? Um, and yeah, at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to the person, and even how they're like, for my, I'll sometimes do like the weekly check-ins, and it doesn't matter what I have on the program. If they're like, I just feel not good. Well, what are you going to do at that point? You're like, well, everything says that you're supposed to be feeling good. What do you do at that point?
No,
You
that's
know?
a really good point because I also will do my weekly check-ins, and the things that I typically track really close now are things outside of the gym for my athletes. So like I have them
Yeah.
write out on a daily training basis, like how their stress is, where their sleep was at, nutrition, just like if they can give me like if they track their macros, if they can just write down their macros. And it's not even that I'm like coaching the nutrition. Sometimes I am, but I'm just like, are they drastically different? Because I will literally see like, oh, someone had like a really poor training session, and I'm like, you got like no sleep. Like, I'm so happy
Yeah.
you wrote this down for me. You got no sleep, so I
Yeah.
can know like, was it the program or was it them? I even just had a client call recently because like training was going, and just like the last week of the block was not what we wanted it to be, and they actually was like, can we get a call? I was like, yeah. And I find out like there's a lot more stuff going on at home, a lot.
Mhm.
And I was literally racking my brain like this client's getting close to competition, and I was like, I gotta change this
Like
protocol. I gotta
something's,
change it. Like she was progressing, and now she's not. And I'm like, okay, so I did still make a tweak or two, like, but honestly, there are tweaks that make sense more so, not because of how the training has gone, but it's like, oh, you don't have confidence at all in your top set squat at all. Let's just make it a
yeah,
pod squat.
yeah,
Like it nothing to do with the tonnage. Like I just changed
yeah,
it based off what's going on.
yeah. And that's, I think, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I think that kind of comes down to communication too. Is, if, I don't know what's going on in your life unless you tell me. And so you're programming for someone, and then they're doing well, and then all of a sudden they're just, seem to plateau, and it's like something that seemed to have worked in the past is no longer working, right? And you're here like as a coach, and this is I had a really good conversation with someone the other day. It's like none of us know, right? Like we're all just trying to figure it out. And coaches with more experience might come to that conclusion a little bit sooner than someone else. We just might find that problem sooner. That's it. Like, experienced coaches, we still don't know. We're just, well, based on the past, this kind of works. So hopefully it works for you. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. And then we, go to option two, and we just usually kind of discover what that problem is sooner.
Yeah, no, it's so true. Like we're like figuring it out. Like it's like,
Yeah.
okay, what the hell is going on?
Like, I don't
Like,
know. I don't, I'm learning you. And so yeah, and especially just like when things are going on. I think that's why it's important to have like a good relationship with your coach, because life stress, like a huge impact. Like, yeah, we talked last week about what I was going through, and um I didn't tell my coach because I was not comfortable, and
mhm.
so he's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, why is she not responding? I don't know what else to do. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm like, it's not your fault. It's mine. And I'm not communicating that with you. So that was a problem. So I think that kind of goes down to, yeah, also talk to your coach.
Yes, 100%. This reminds me. So last night I was talking to a client because this is a newer client. We're 2 blocks in, and she's competing next block. And 2 out of 3 lifts are like, "Yo, we got some good progress. Like we're 7.5 weeks in. I'm like, I'm happy with this." But one lift is just like, no. I was like, dang. And yet, so last night I looked at the overall tonnage, but I'm like, even though I'm looking at like how much fatigue and how many pounds of and load she has done this block week to week. I'm like, I think she just needs like higher intensity with lower rep range. And that's going to change the tonnage, but it doesn't really matter. Cause I'm like, I just think I need to change how the intensity is being divided.
Yeah.
Um
And sometimes like,
like yeah, like me looking at the tonnage really didn't help me that much. I'm like, because
no.
I made the decision based off not really the pounds lifted. Like
Yeah. And so that's kind of why I've really have gravitated towards like RPE and stuff and just kind of trends. But at the end of the day, it's like even those trends, right? Like your life stress might be different than that trend prior. And now we got to try to troubleshoot. How can we get you enough of a training stimulus that you're having progress, but not to the point where there's like that accumulating fatigue that maybe otherwise you wouldn't necessarily have because you haven't been eating well or sleeping well and your stress levels are through the roof.
fully agree. So can you think of a time where it was very helpful to track metrics?
Um, I mean, hmm, if there was a time, I mean, yeah, like I think in general it's important, but I think it's like I like really tracking step count. And like the platform that I use just has like an integration, so it automatically does it for you. You don't have to like go in and tell me unless like you don't have that's assuming you have a smartwatch, right? But I've noticed, and at least with myself, that so I told you I struggle with like my glute issue. I've come to accept it at this point. It's just about managing it. It's still there, but I can the threshold is very low, so I can tolerate it and I know when to push it and when not to. And on days that like on a rest day, I have to do some sort of active recovery, go for a walk, do some yoga, or do something because if I just sit and be a couch potato all day, my training session the next day, my glute is so sore.
That
And
make
but this is another thing. It like does it, I mean, I don't know, like why? Who knows? I found that for whatever reason, my glute, if I am not moving, hurts more. So I just have to make sure I move.
I love tracking stuff so much.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to step count, whenever someone's like not recovering well, like there's like we get through a deload week. It's not even a deload. I don't really do like big deloads. Like we get through a week one that's lower
I call
intensity.
it like a low stress week. I mean, I still
Yeah, that's a better term.
deload. I still use deload like in the like I'm like this is a deload week, but it's just yeah, like it's just you just reduce training volume and intensity a little bit. Like,
Yeah, just a little bit. But I tell my clients, I'm like, yo, if your recovery, you tell me it's not good, I better see 8K plus steps. Cause I be seeing 4 and 5, and I'm like, don't talk to me
yeah, and I'm like,
about your recovery. I'm like, you be sitting, and then one client the other day, she's so funny. She's like dealing with like a little bit of like back discomfort, and she has been for since before she came to me because she's very new to me. And then she sent me a meme. She's like, me complaining about back pain, but I sit like this all day. And it's her just like awkwardly like limped up like on like a desk.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, yes, yes, if you sit like this all day and then you're only getting 5K, yes,
that's hard
that'll do it.
to say. Yeah. I also because it says it like tracks the smartwatch. So it also tracks sleep, assuming that you're wearing it, and then heart rate. And I've had clients, it's funny because like some days, and not that like heart rate for powerlifting is really like significant, right? I think it's more for just general health purposes, but I wouldn't track that as like a performance measurement for powerlifting, right? But it's funny that, I'm like, your heart rate was at 0 yesterday. Are you okay? Did you die?
Are you alive still?
Are you alive? Yeah. So that's kind of funny because I don't wear it all the time. So sometimes like, and that's the thing too. It's like that's really helpful if you wear it, right? But if you're not wearing your wearable, then it doesn't matter, right? And then that kind of goes into question of like how accurate it really is. Um, there's been times where it says I've been standing for 5 hours. I'm like, I've been up for three.
Yeah, I love it. My favorite. You hit the standing goal. I'm like, I have not been stand. Okay.
I'm like, I haven't even been up for that long. I don't understand.
I go through phases with wearing my Apple Watch. So like right now I'm 7 weeks out. So like starting like probably when I was 16 weeks out, I'm like wearing it every day. Cause I like to really look at it. Cause I need to make sure my weight is in a good spot. But I haven't competed since like nationals the last year. So like I had a gap of months where I did not touch this thing. I was like, I need a break. I don't want to see it, but I'm gonna get a walk in daily. And I know that when I do this 2 mile walk, and that was what helped me hit my steps. So I didn't like stop walking. I just like stopped tracking it so closely because my brain needed a break. That's why I also stopped
Yeah,
tracking macros for a few months, but now I'm back to it. And like now I'm obsessed with tracking macros right now because I took such a long break that I'm like excited to
to
track
do it.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I know what you mean. It's funny too, because when I wear the wearable or like if I'm wearing my watch, I find that I'm more active, because
You
it's
can
like
see
you
it.
look at it and you're like, oh, I'm at 8,000 steps. I got to get another, like I got to get to that 10,000 because it's meaningless, but I don't know. I need 10,000 because someone, because that's what
Listen,
I was told.
Listen, when my steps are up, my weight stays beautiful. I need
Uh,
it.
and so I think, I mean, like, yeah, even if wearing it doesn't, I mean, doesn't do anything physically, it's like it kind of, I don't know, it makes you move more, or at least for me, and I find for other people too, it's like always watching like, ooh, I'm active, let me get some more in, I'm almost at my goal. So
there,
I
there,
think that's a good thing for people, they need that. And I'm not even referring to like lifters, I'm just talking about people in general. We all do, right? Like need some sort of motivation.
did you
So
use the social steps app ever? Were you a part of that trend?
no, no.
Girl, okay, so you know how Sam Calhoun, do you know how
Yeah,
she like used to post like 20,000 stuff? Like she's just
yeah,
known for like, I'm gonna do something, one thing, focus on it, and go overboard with it. And I hope she
yeah.
hears this because that's what she does all the
Doing like
time.
50 pull-ups a day right now.
It's
I
50 pull-ups, and then I don't know how many lunges, but she lunges every day, body weight around the track. And
Oh my
then something else she added in, I think.
just started in dips.
Yes, it was dips she added into 50.
Yeah.
And it's
If,
all with a 20-pound weight vest.
oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
she recovers. I told her the other day, I'm like, you don't make sense. I'm like, you need to do CrossFit. You need to. I'm like, you are excellent at doing strength things for endurance. You need to just quit powerlifting and do CrossFit.
Strong in powerlifting. I think she's one of those people I think because I've experienced too some it's and I don't want to like speak on her, but I know that I've had some burnout and I'm kind of assuming that maybe she's just like I need to do something different than powerlifting because can get boring. Like there's really not a lot to it. So I think she's that type of person that she needs like, a stimulus to keep her motivated, right? So she does things like, a pull-up challenge or a step challenge or lunging challenge around the track. And um, I think a lot of people we used to think that like anything outside of powerlifting was going to hurt our performance. Like God forbid you go for a run. Oh my God, you know, you're gonna go catabolic on me and shrink into
Oh
a
my God,
skeleton.
that
You remember
stupid
like
word. Catabolic, you hear it all the
uh,
time.
remember the meme or like it was a meme or a picture of like the sprinter and the marathon runner.
I don't think
Remember,
so.
and it's like the marathon runner is like this stick figure, and then the sprinter is like this jacked person with thick quads. And it's
I can
just like,
picture it.
oh, maybe you're just too young. Maybe I'm aging myself.
Um, this reminds me. So like, I keep bringing up stuff, but I swear it's all happened in the last week. So it was yesterday, I got a new client, right? And this client, so first of all, utter shock. This person went on USAPL's website, and you know how they say like the coaches that are certified? So
Oh
they
God.
have a they went up there and just looked up coaches in New Jersey and like literally contacted me and signed with me immediately. That has
Oh, are you on there?
never happened. Yeah, I'm a certified. I got certified during COVID when I was super bored. Um,
Congrats.
I was like, yo, I never thought this would do anything for me. But this is how you know this person's a master's lifter. I'm not saying that in an offensive way, but like they're not on social media. They don't care about it. They're older, and they thought the first thing they thought is, let me go to the website. Like this is how I find the coach, and I'm like, this is
I think
hilarious to me.
that's, actually kind of smart. That's, I
It
think
is, but it's fine.
before social media, what did you do?
You
If you're looking
online.
for someone. I remember
Yeah.
looking up the yellow pages in the
Oh
phone.
my god. I used to look at that when I was like 7 years old. But wait, I'm like off topic because I'm saying him to say he was like, "Hey, so I actually like doing other physical things. Like I'm taking a boxing class like once twice a week." And he was like,
Yeah.
"You know, I really like running, but I don't want to go overboard with it. But I'm enjoying running." He's like, "How do you feel about doing any movement outside of powerlifting?" And I was like, I love it. I'm like, I tell my clients to walk a certain amount. I'm like, if you want me to, he just told me you like the bike, you like the elliptical, and you like jumper. I'm like, I can put that into a program myself, so you don't have to like just guess of what to do. So I'll give you the cardio to do, plus I'll give you a step count. And if you want to jog to hit the step count goal, that is fine, as long as you let me know if you're gonna do something crazy, like because he's doing a 10K in a week. I was like, okay,
Oh,
but if you want to do a 10K or something, I'm like, let me know. He's like, no, a 10K is a one-time thing. I just want to jog sometimes. I'm like, cool. And he's like, so you're okay with that? And he looked like he was in shock. And I was like, yeah, like movement outside powerlifting is so good for you. Like it's good for your health and it's good for your recovery. He's like, yeah, because back in the day, they used to say you should just sit down.
nothing. 5 reps.
Literally, it was like he was like, I used to just lift and sit down, and I felt terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's
So
a new age.
I have two responses to that. Is one that I think our bodies are adaptable more so than we think.
Hmm.
know, Now I'm not recommending to do a powerlifting meet and run a marathon at the same time. Like I think we do have limits here, right? To what our body can recover from in a sense. But I think that our ability to recover and like adapt to training is significantly higher than what we think. And I don't think that powerlifting is enough where we're going to like have this like we're not going to recover from eventually, right? Like we're not doing well, I guess maybe some people maybe, but majority of us are like, smart about our training. Um, and the second, and now I lost my train of thought. So I had a second
What were you
response.
talking about? Sitting down and
Yeah.
not doing anything outside of just training.
Yeah, now I forgot.
Dang. Okay, I'll come back.
I'm gonna like think of it at the end and I'm gonna be like, that's what I was saying. The one we are adaptable. What was the other one? Dang.
It'll come back.
Oh,
Uh,
I,
I know it's
I
the worst feeling.
forever. Uh, I'll come back to
There's
it. All right.
there's something that crossed my mind earlier that I wanted to say when it comes to tracking any sort of metric. When it comes to actual like when I'm programming, the only thing I pay close attention to is just like the sets and reps that we're doing. And then if I feel the need to increase any rep count anywhere or decrease it, I just make note of that. Like a blatant note, like, okay, we decrease like 1 rep for like the back down for this block.
Yeah.
That is 4 less reps. And then I'm like, how did they perform with that one change? So I do track like any changes made to volume
Oh
or
yeah,
set count for
for
sure,
sure.
like closely.
Yeah.
But like I just don't care that much about overall time unless tonnage is crazy bad. Like all of a sudden they're just like, I'm not recovering at all and I have to do 20% less than we planned every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, it's like something crazy, which I had a client who was like going through something like physically, like outside the gym, and like it really did drop like crazy. I'm like, whoa, look at that number.
What
Like,
is
whoa,
that? Like this is a lot.
yeah, I
Or
was like, this
like,
ain't explainable.
yeah. So as you were speaking, I did remember where I was going with the last conversation. Now to bring it back to something that was unrelated to that. What I was trying to say was there is a difference between health and performance, right? And so everyone thinks that athletes are like the healthiest, and it's like, are they though? Like ask them how we feel in prep mode or something, and like you don't feel awesome, I bet. And so I think that's a different thing is there's a difference between health and performance. And I think I've kind of transitioned more to, yes, performance is important, but so is your health.
Performance is important, but so is your health.
That was a good one.
That's a good line.
Uh,
My favorite thing ever is when I'm talking to like a stranger, or like really not me. I don't like talking to strangers. Someone that says something to me, and not in a creepy way, but like sometimes like you're wearing like you ever wearing like fitness clothing and you're like out somewhere regular and like a woman will be like, yo, you look great, or just something like that. And like, oh, are you an
oh,
athlete? Or I hear like, oh, are you a track runner? Like, and like they're being nice. So I'm like, I don't want to be a jerk because I really hate comments on my body. I hate it with all my heart.
yeah.
But I'm like, be nice and just and they're always like, oh man, it must like what's it like to be this fit or something like that. And I'm just like, I feel like shit.
It hurts. My body hurts. Everything hurts.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm 7 weeks out. Like, I just did a really heavy squat last week. I haven't recovered yet. Like, my back hurts.
Like I'm hungry. I haven't
I'm
eaten.
literally hungry and dieting. Like,
I'm over my
like, but
macros.
yup, I went over by 20 grams yesterday, so now I gotta walk an few extra steps so I don't have the
Oh
scale
my
spike because I'm too close to me.
God.
I'm like, damn.
Psychos. Like that's not healthy.
It's just funny because I'm like, we're not the healthiest. And like, I know,
Oh,
like, I mean, you have a client, like, I've had clients coming for nationals where I'm like, yo, like, this the same cut we've been doing for some reason, like the same exact cut, the same exact gut cut days and water protocol. We get a day out and you a pound and a half over than you should be. You think it's healthy to have you sit in the sauna? You think it's healthy to have her spitting? You think it's healthy to have her in the hot bath and now and now and now? Like this is not for health, bro. and now go 2 hours of sleep that night. Like
you know
I'm
what's
lifting the whole
funny?
time. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna make it.
Oh, good times, good times. Um, what's funny is that oh my God, what is wrong with me?
The screen blur is turning into blurring your brain.
Me? Is that what it is? Oh my God. What was I gonna say? I did have a thought. Continue, and it will come
All
back to me.
right. But yeah, like truly, or even when it comes to tracking, like when my clients are close to a meet, like I have clients doing Powerlifting American Nationals. I'm like, in certain ones, I'm like, you gotta track every single thing. And like, sometimes they would prefer a mental break, I'm sure. Or like there's
Yeah.
an event coming up. Like I have someone who has got an event coming up, like a birthday or something. That's not theirs, thankfully. But I'm like, I'm sorry to say you are definitely tracking at this birthday. You are not having the cake. You know what I mean? Like, and like real talk, right? Like that kind of sucks. So like I'm also a person who likes to practice healthy habits, coach healthy habits, coach to like, yes, you can have cake and obviously eat like well balanced, but like we're too close to the meat and like you really, I swear to God, if I see cake in these macros, I swear to God, like you're not gonna make weight and we don't have time for this. I'm flying out there for you. You
Yeah.
better make weight.
So, so I remembered what I was gonna say. I don't know what is my brain is just maybe it is this thing, this blur. So you know how they always talk about like physical activity and resistance training and exercise is like really good for you? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like as an athlete, it's the opposite.
Oh, totally.
When you go to the gym and you don't have a good training session, it's so stressful. Or like, I don't know, you have a busy day and you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it to the gym. Or like being there and it's just like you don't want to be there, but you feel like you have to because you're in prep. And if you don't, then your coach is going to be, yelling at you. And it's like when they always talk about like, go lift and go to the gym for, for stress and reduce it. I'm like, that causes me stress.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big stressor in my life. So
Okay, wait. Have you ever this is gonna start off. Have you ever dated somebody who doesn't quite get that you're a competing athlete and for fun they offer something physical? Like so they're like, hey, for fun, let's go for a hike. And like they know I told them I have a competition in a month,
Mhm.
like close, and they're like, let's go for a hike and then we can go like to the movies and have this dinner. And I'm like, I can't do any of that. Like, go to hell. Like,
Um, I think I don't think I would have dated anyone if they weren't understanding. Like I would if they didn't get it. I first of all, like if I don't know, I've always been attracted to someone who's like at least in the even if it's not like into powerlifting, they're at least some sort of like athlete or doing something active and or they're just like passionate about something. So they understand where I'm coming from. And I say like they, like I have like all this sounds so bad. Like
It
they.
doesn't sound
But you're
bad.
asking me, like in the course of 10 years that I have competed in powerlifting and I've probably, dated a few people. I don't think I could have dated someone who uh did not understand what I was doing and going through.
I think for me, like in the past, I was always good because, like, I remember my longest relationship was 3 years, and he was a competing bodybuilder, so there was no issue. Like, we ain't going. Like, if we went out to eat, we were so excited because it was like, yo, we both are in a time where we can go out to eat and eat whatever we want. But like, definitely, as someone who's been dating more recently, like, it's not that they don't get it; it's that they're not on top of it yet. So like, they understand I'm competing, and they themselves work out a lot, but then they'll still be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get empanadas on the way to your house. Like, do you want one?" Like
Yeah,
stuff like that. And I'm just like, I can't have the fried cheese empanada. And then
okay,
please
yeah.
don't invite me next weekend to meet your friends at this grandiose dinner with drinks. Like, I guess I can go and have the broccoli and grilled chicken. Like,
Yeah.
like
I mean, I've definitely been in situations like that, but I guess like, I'm used to it where I've had to eat. I'm like, can you put chicken breast and like just make it as bland as possible? Like don't cook it in oil, just boil it or something. Just make
yep.
it the grosser it tastes, the better.
The blander and paler the chicken, the better it is.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in situations like that and at least like especially when I was cutting weight, and I would get grumpy and mood swings because I'm like, I'm not eating, I'm hangry, and now you're eating cookies and
Mm-hmm.
peach rings or whatever, and I'm like, oh,
Yep. Yep.
go eat in the bedroom, go over there and eat. I don't.
Literally go eat, go home. Why are you here? You came here just to eat in front of me and then leave. Just go home. That's me at this point. Like, okay, I'm gonna stop. TMI. Don't date me if I'm close to me. I'm not fun. That's the point.
I don't think anyone's fun. It's not fun. We're grumpy, we're hungry, we're sore, we feel like shit.
Yep.
We're not healthy. My
Nope.
stress is through the roof. We're not
My,
fun
st-
people.
my stress is high. So, yep,
No,
that'll do it for that. SPD rally is coming up.
it is.
I'm excited for it. I'm like literally on the IG. I'm like, no, I'm on Instagram. I'm like, where's the IG with the photo of the first flight?
Didn't P post it? Did P
Is
post
it
it?
on Pete's page?
I don't know. I think so.
Nah, it's not on his page. But he's got like a small
What
following. Like his own personal page is not
about
where he posts
SPD?
it.
Oh, they post. Oh yeah, it's on SPD
Is which one? SPD apparel?
USA.
Oh, see that. Oh.
As I say, like it just saw it.
Hey, there it is. Okay, dope. Okay, I'm excited for this meet. It's got 12K on the line. Like, I just love that they're doing like a Sheffield-ish style meet in America for those who are like excellent lifters, but like not going to worlds. Like, I'm so stoked.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm like looking. I'm like, I couldn't tell who's the one was because I'm like, he's screaming. Who is that? Um,
No,
I
we
think
got
they're gonna add more people.
what?
I think they're gonna add more
Oh yeah, no, they are. But I'm happy they announced like I think this
first
like
round.
flight A again the first round, and then like the second round picks will come later.
Yeah.
So ooh, it's gonna be good.
What are your thoughts on Rondell getting banned? for seven.
He's been banned. This is
But
old.
he just posted something
Oh, I
yesterday.
can give my thoughts on the meme. I totally saw the post. That was hilarious.
I thought it was the funniest thing ever. That's why what does it say? You're the only human being alive that can stop the US team from sweeping, but you can't go to Worlds.
Yep. Yep. How do I feel? I mean,
Aw.
it sucks, but it's like old news. Like
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate with everything. And if people don't know, well, first of all, if you don't know who Ronda Hunt is, like look him up because he's really the strongest 125 on the planet, but you may not know because he hasn't been able to compete
Because
IPF.
he's doing meets that he shouldn't be doing, like a naughty boy.
No, hold up. There's so much more to that. There's so much more. Like he's from Trinidad, and because of political reasons, he could not compete for years just due to the fact that he was from Trinidad.
Right.
Just due to the unfortunate affair that he was born in that country that
Well,
has
because
political issues.
they don't have, do they have a federation? I mean, they do, but wasn't he doing VI for a little bit?
So they have a federation. I don't understand all the political reasons why he could not compete. I just know they have a fed. Um,
Okay.
you said was he doing USVI? No, he never went USVI. He never could. Because the USVI that 1 year they would grab people from America. He's not
I
American.
know. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not American. Oh, so there's that, and then what happened is that he then went to USAPL last year, did USAPL Mega Nationals, and wanted me to get into USAPL Mega Nationals. And it was really just because, and this is me just going based off the podcast I've heard from him talking, it's because he just like wanted to compete. Like he hasn't been able to compete at all. So he competed. And then after he did, was it corrupted? Okay, the story is this. He was going to do the corrupted straight meet. He ended up not doing it, and then he signed up for IPF. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna do IPF instead. Second, he signed up for, he got banned for a year because they're like, okay, cool, you're still like, I don't remember why they banned it. They're just like, oh, you still can't like
You can't sign
compete with
up.
us. You're banned. Yeah. So then he did USAPL Mega Nationals. He was like, this is stupid. I want to do
So I'm just
meets.
gonna compete. Yeah. And then you got
Competed.
double hand? Or
And
like, oh,
yeah, got double banned. That's why
tagged.
he can't compete till 2025, even though it got banned in 2023. It's a 2 year ban now. So
Frustrating.
it sucks, but
I really want to
I
see.
can't wait till he can compete. It'll be great.
Just don't do any meets in the meantime so we can
Well, he's
see.
not going to. I listen to every podcast he's on. I really love him as a lifter.
Yeah. Oh, so I had my roommates in college were from Trinidad and Tobago, and I love them. They're amazing. They are the like funnest people I have ever had the pleasure of hanging out with and getting to know. They love life. They love to party. They love their rum. And yeah, they were just fun, just good people. So it's funny because like I can always tell a Trinidadian accent. Now I'm like, I know that's not Jamaican. That one is Trinidadian.
You better than me.
I
You're
well,
better than me.
but I think it's because I lived with Trinidad, like my roommates from Trinidad. So at first, like I couldn't tell the difference, but now I can.
Yeah.
And I learned some words from them.
Did they teach like all the curse words? Is that what they did? I feel like that's what everyone
Oh
does.
yeah, of course, of course. But like it would be funny because like my roommate, her name was Kemi, she'd be like, "Do you have a wuzzle?" And I'm like, "A what?" A wuzzle. And she's like, "A hair tie." And I'm like, "Oh." Like little, like just words that we just don't have. Like so it'd be like moments like that or um I'm trying to think of other, I mean, definitely some naughty words. Or like we go lime, we like hang out, go lime. That's like I
Oh,
think a common one. Maybe people know.
I think
Uh,
I've heard that once, but I think now I know what it means as of the moment.
well, yeah, it's like let's go hang out, let's party, let's go like do something. Um, yeah. So always
Is
good
there
time.
anything else? Forgot.
Oh
That's all I
yeah,
had.
but I don't know if I can say it on this
Oh
podcast.
no, I mean like any other topics to talk about, not the words. I'm like, don't keep going. We gonna start going
Like,
Google Translate.
I
We'll
got a
learn
lot of
some.
words for you. I just probably yeah, leave them leave them alone. No, that's all I can think of.
Okay. Oh, I
Like,
did one. Okay, real
tangent.
quick. SPD. Who from the roster so far are you most excited to watch compete? for Riley.
Let me pull up the roster again. And I was just looking at it too.
Oh, girl, same. Okay, here we go. I can start. I'm gonna say I want to see Celine's comeback meet because I
Yeah,
love. Um, well, first, I've always loved her lifter. She knows that, but I think like she's been so open about talking about how she was really disappointed, how her training went better than what she was able to put up, and she's like so determined to make sure that she gets the spot, like to go to Worlds at some point. So I know,
yeah,
especially it's in her hometown. Like, girl, I'm like, this is
yeah.
supposed to be the meet where she's like, I'm blowing it up so I can really show you what I should have showed you at nationals. And so I'm definitely most excited to see Celine.
Got like a fire lit under her.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, that and Chelsea, I would say, just because I mean, I know that she was kind of disappointed with how she did at her meet at nationals. So to see if she can do better or at least feel better about her performance in July.
That's a good one. I'm gonna say guy wise, I want to see how Morgan Aquino does because he just had a surprisingly down meet. And like as someone who did the previous show with Steve on Two White Lights, like we've just predicted much higher numbers, and like he just went lower than like what he's done in past meets. So I'm like, I don't know what was happening. I think he was dealing with injury, but I really want to see him like come back and have like a strong meet.
Yeah. Even was it Jackie
But later,
later? Yeah. Because she's kind of like up and coming, I think. And she did really a lot better than I think a lot of people maybe were expecting her. I mean, she totaled like not that far behind Chelsea and Gabby. And she had like a 127 bench, I think, if I'm
she
not
had a strong bench. So just to be clear, some people may have underestimated her. Just to be clear, me and Steve did not. We did say it was going to be a big, like the most intense weight class. We
Oh
did
yeah.
both pick Gabby just because we were like her lists are on fire. But we were like when it comes to Jackie and Chelsea, we
Don't
wouldn't be
kind of
shocked if
know.
one of them can surpass, and we wouldn't be shocked if either one gets second or third, like
Yep.
switches.
I mean, I think
So
that's exactly it was Gabby, Chelsea, Jackie.
that's exactly what it was. I was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
it turned out exactly how I overall was like guessing,
Expected it
but
too.
her numbers are going up at a nice pace.
Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing too. It's like how fast you see someone progressing. Because even Gabby, the last like I competed with her in 2021, and it was one of those where like we totaled the same, but like based off body weight, like it was me, Claire, and Gabby, and we all totaled the same. But then yeah, like because of body weight. But I just remember like watching her after that meet. It was like I don't I don't remember her lifts. This was like 3 years ago at this point, right? But her deadlift, um, I think she went, I want to say for like 210, and I could be wrong here. And I remember she missed it. It was one of those like you have to pull for the win in order to get it. And then like, I don't know, a couple weeks later, it's like she was repping it out or something. You know what I mean? It was or just very close
Mm,
to it. And I'm just like, okay, this girl, like, you know, she's progressing. She's still very new in this sport and has a lot of room to grow. And I'm like, okay, she's someone that like I need to watch out for. And now she won nationals,
wow.
won the worlds. So it's kind of cool to see.
That's incredible because I don't distinctly remember her from 2021. I definitely watched that competition. I just didn't like she wasn't on my radar until probably 2022, I think.
Oh,
But
well, well, you were a different weight class because you were 63, right? Because this is like the last.
yeah, but I just paid I was starting. So I this is when I just started my podcast. So I was just starting to really pay attention to everybody else. Before the podcast, I did not pay attention to nobody. I was just like trying to survive Ireland.
I only paid attention to people in my weight class.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I knew other people, but like the only people that I'd kind of like, all right, what are they doing? Are people that I was competing against. Um, and yeah, that was like the year that I guess the reason that I know that is because that was the last USAPL meet that I did. And it was, yeah, it was like Chandler, Claire,
Yeah.
and Gabby. But then it was like Chandler was above everyone else at
By
that.
a lot. Yep, I remember that. Oh my god.
And then
Wild. Because
yeah,
now Gabby's was above her numbers and she was so Chandler Bab. I remember it was like the Chandler Bab
that,
show.
that was like, yeah. And Chandler, I want to say at that meet she did like 237, maybe 232. Like, again, this is a long time ago, but yeah, like Gabby surpassed her. And I remember watching Chandler and everyone was just kind of like awestruck, like, oh wow, this girl is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
She's Trinidadian too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is. So I think it was good. I also did a podcast with her. I know she wasn't born there, but I think her dad is
Yeah,
Trinidadian.
like she's like yeah, she's Trinidadian, but culturally like because she competed USVI.
Yeah, now she's US back. So.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right. That was the same time. All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to our podcast. I think it was like a more of a casual conversation, but I liked it. So,
Yeah, fun.
and we'll catch you next time on the Power and Lifting podcast.